All right, good morning, guys, and welcome to our broadcast. We hope that you all are good. Wherever you're joining us from this morning, a very good morning to you. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. It's how we want to be heard. Things look good from our end, and good to see all of you folks joining the live this morning. I see Tessa Sunich is here, and Mr. French is here as well. Good to have you. Redaman Alexis is here. Haven't seen this name in the comments in a little bit. Red Oman Alexis. Good to have you. Gideon Caesar. We see you there too. And Gil Ali Cock, of course. And Upright Youth and Brenda Oliver. I see Moses Barlow is here. And Auntie Sandra is here too. Sandra Hanover. Sheena Hazel is here too. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. Brenda, I see Marlon Thomas. Brenda Moore. Kevin is here too. And Deborah Pearson. Edward and Karen. Good to have you. Pam Hall says loud and clear. Good to have you, folks. Lynette Finance, good to see you on the live this morning. Edward Brooms and Roxy McKinnon. Good to have all of you on the live today, folks. Good to have all of you on the live, and we hope that you guys are good. How y'all doing? We hope y'all are good, but y'all can tell us how y'all really doing. You know, we're just assuming. But y'all can let us know how you're really doing, how you're really feeling. Please and thank you. Do let us know, folks. Happy to have all of you here with us. Valerie Clark is here. Wayne is here as well. Wayne Brown and Dolly Anderson, of course, and Diane Gravesandi. Good morning, Diane. How are you doing? Good to see Mrs. Gravesandi on the live this morning. Monas Toby from PK and also from Belladrum fame, and Tessa, of course, and Karen, and Winston Noel, Rena Marks. Good to have all of you on the broadcast this morning. It's a privilege, nothing short of a privilege, having all of you folks here. So much is happening, folks. So much is happening. You know, I can be facetious and play around with the language and say so many is happening. A lot of things. It's a lot of things, folks. You know, and much perhaps is it because there's so much we can't count them. You know, they say many is used where you can count the things. Much you can't. It's too much. It's too many to be counted. Pim. Good morning, folks. As I said, happy to have all of you on the broadcast this morning. And I want to take you to some of what we touched on last evening with this motion that was brought by Member of Parliament, veteran MP, Member of Parliament, former Minister of Health, former Minister of, I think, Social Protection at some point in her tenure there, former Minister of Health, substantively, and who knows what other cap she is going to wear in the future. She is a grandmother and mother and all of those things, all of those beautiful things. But we know her as Volda Ann Lawrence, Member of Parliament, the Right Honorable, and she brought this motion concerning, the upliftment of the Lirupentier Cemetery, and found an agreement with the rare agreement with the government. They want things look bad and the thing, and they hobble together a couple lines and say, oh, we got a master plan for the city and to fix the cemetery, so why not? We'll sign on to. And the National Assembly managed to approve this motion yesterday for the rehabilitation of the Lirupentier Cemetery. And congrats to the House in general, I guess. Congrats to the House in general. Of course, the PPP had to play a lot of politics before we got to the agreement. They had to play a lot of politics in between all of that. But, here is a part of MP Volda Lawrence's presentation in which she's talking about not only rehabilitating. We gotta have it in this country. We like to build things. People can't build nothing proper. Let's just put it out there. Greg Anderson, Natasha Singh, people can't build nothing proper in this country. Maintenance is key. Maintenance is what always beats us up. Maintenance is what always knocks them over. You drive along Hewards Highway, for instance. You see grass growing up. You see a set of sand and brick and mud. Maintenance. We go to cutting ribbons. But see the maintenance? It's maintenance has caused people selling to float away. Maintenance. Holes start taking up on the road. But some of it is just incompetence too. Right? And as the Corruption Perception Index out of Transparency International showed us quite recently, corruption in the public sector. But here is Volda Ann Lawrence talking, among other things, MP Volda Ann Lawrence, among other things, Gideon Caesar and Karen and Raquel, Marlon Thomas, maintenance. Right? Maintenance. I was looking for a photograph before we came on of when my relatives in the U.S. All my relatives in the U.S. Right? But a particular set, they took me to a burial ground. I wanted to sit down right away and have a picnic. The place was so clean and tidy and dandy. Maintenance. And we got to find that sweet spot. We got to find that sweet spot. Whether it's the parlors or government and the parlors and City Hall, whatever's that mix. That we're not only gonna rehabilitate Lirupentier, but maintain as well. Maintenance is key. Volda Ann Lawrence, Member of Parliament, making the point yesterday. Take a look. Take a listen.
Speaker, I know that there are some of us who come to this house just to make noise. But I will not, Mr. Speaker, be distracted this afternoon. The last whereas clause, sir, of this motion calls for an implementation plan for maintenance of the Lirupentier Cemetery, a maintenance plan. You see, sir, investing millions of dollars into new projects is pointless if we don't maintain them. Lack of maintenance leads to costly failures, safety hazards, and expensive repairs down the line. What we need is a proactive maintenance plan which will extend the lifespan of the infrastructure, which will save taxpayers money and ensure services remain reliable. Mr. Speaker, prioritizing continuous upkeep over new development is not just smart, it's responsible governance. And so, sir, today, I wish to thank all the members who spoke on this motion, all of them. Sir, this 17th day of February 2025 gave this House, through this motion, an opportunity to do what is right. And that is to ensure that the Le Repentir Cemetery is put into a position where persons can visit the tombs or the resting place of their loved ones, and persons who seek to bury their loved ones can do so without fear and without having to walk with a chainsaw. Mr. Speaker, this evening, the true test of democracy is not in the victory of which side win. The true test, sir, would be for the people of Guyana, in this House and out of this House, to be able to visit the Le Repentir Cemetery sir, and use it for the purpose it was built for, to be able to visit their loved ones, to be able to bury their loved ones, and to be able, sir, to look at this space in our country and feel proud. It would be able to allow persons, sir, not to be afraid to enter in, not to have to pay for police escort to take them in, but rather, sir, to be able to enjoy the ambience, to enjoy their visits, and most of all, to be able to recognize that their taxpayers' dollars is being spent for the upkeep, the maintenance of the Le Repentir Cemetery.
Yeah. Couldn't add anything else there. Just could not add anything else there. And I love it when she said that, you know, democracy is not just about who win. You know, it's not just about who win. Love it, love it, love it. Love that part too. Love it. Come bless me now, my Savior. Some people come, wake up and choose violence, you know. Right? We always choose peace. Peaceful people. Struggling, we struggle, folks. We always choose peace. That's what I'm telling you all. We choose peace. Some people choose violence. No. We choose peace. So during that debate, something they've been harping on, they haven't shown us any proof, but they keep saying that the PNC owes a lot of rates and taxes. These folks are the real sanctimonious gangsters. They haven't showed you a shred of evidence and stating that if only PNC were to pay up this fake rates and taxes, that they made up in their minds, we could help Europe and tear. Well, I heard Christopher Jones, our parliamentary opposition chief whip, and Ganesh Mahipal, member of parliament, made the argument yesterday that these same people are pointing a hand, pointing a finger. They got a lot of fingers pointing back at them. Same set. The same set of people who wish to plague on Guyanese, a pandemic, epidemic. They're the plagues. They are the plagues. And I want to beautify that place so we can go and visit Kwame them and so on. Ganesh Mahipal, member of parliament, making the arguments yesterday. This whole issue of rates and taxes, among other allied matters. Take a look.
Madam Deputy Speaker, let me say that in communication with the Georgetown mayor, the government, the PPP government, that is what Honorable Christopher Jones said. The PPP government owes the mayor and city council $7.7 billion. $7.7 billion. Pay the people their money so they could do work. Pay the people their money so they can do work. And you know what, Madam Deputy Speaker? Between 2015, when we had a budget in August of 2015, to the last budget that we had, which was in November of 2018 for 2019, not a cent the coalition didn't owe City Hall. Their rates and taxes were paid. So the PPP government needs to stop coming to this house with a line item that says rates and taxes have billions of dollars in its accumulated amount and not transferring it to its rightful place, which is the mayor and city council of Georgetown.
Correct.
And the NDCs also. And Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, Gaisuku owe them too. Gaisuku owe NDCs lots of monies. So please, the next time you come with your supplementary, which is probably one more time you're going to get for come, probably in July, because we know November you're gone. So when you come in July for the supplementary, please ensure you cater to pay the NDCs so that they can do their work and develop their communities. Madam Deputy Speaker, we got to remember also, as I said, the PPP wants us to believe that, it's only 2020 we start. We weren't there all the time. 2020 is when God said, let's do it, and we start, and that's when Guyana started to flourish. They didn't have nothing like Kelvin Lal. Kelvin Lal wasn't one of them. Was he one of you? Oh, the house went into silence. Kelvin Lal was the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development. He was the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development when he said that he wished for an epidemic in the city. He wished for an epidemic to break out in the city. And a couple of mornings after he said that, remember we had what? Chikungunya. We had chikungunya. These are the honorable people. The honorable people who want us to believe that they were not existing there. Madam Deputy Speaker, the records will show that in 2015, when the coalition came to government, the transformative agenda that was on the table, that commenced without oil, is what these honorable people over there are building on with oil money. And it is no different from 1992 when we had the economic recovery program in place. It was the PNC that brought the economic recovery program, and they inherited in 1992, strived on it, and made significant movement. And it was done from up to 1997, and then we started to see the decay on the Barra Jagdeo when he came about.
Yep. Beat and teach, folks. That's what you call it. Beat and teach. Thought I'd fire you guys up a little bit. You know, in the national capital city, we're broadcasting live from. It's raining a little bit outside, you know. And I know we know about cold. Those of you in the north, I know, don't tell me, but it's a little cold outside. So we want to warm you all up this morning. Beat and teach. Evan, Irwin, Andrew Griffith. Beat and teach. Yep. And as Andrew said, respect our manners. Beat and you gotta remind them sometimes, you know. We don't remind them often enough. We do not remind them often enough. You all remember what a site Stabrook Market was? Mile high garbage under these fellas here, and then folks like Lal wishing a plague, an epidemic, pandemic. Well, he got his wish. We got the PVP in power, installed, albeit. We got them. So we got the pandemic, the epidemic. We have it. Folks, let's touch on a couple of things. And then I want to touch on that issue of our soldiers, our men in uniform. This government eyes past our people, you know. This government eyes past our people. That's why I'm telling you all this morning. The eyes past our men and women in uniform. You know the Irfan government, the Barjagju Irfan government, they can talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. They can't walk the walk, folks. Right? They can't walk the walk. Because so much happened. We're going to just touch it on a couple so that we can help there. We're seeing these headlines all the time. The traffic surge, the traffic violations. And I think it's perhaps more than a year now, thanks to the new traffic chief, thanks to him, they've really been pulling up people for the reckless use of our roadways. But we got to go a little beyond the now, because the numbers are increasing, the violations and so on. And while the numbers are important, enforcement, we got to enforce the laws now. And where there are penalties to apply, let the penalties apply. You know, this is a country you can knock down two people and get your license, knock down and kill, and get your license suspended. You get your license suspended. We gotta get serious. And you know, critical issues like these, we gotta lead from the front. We can't lead from the side. Raquel, Leslyn, Mandy, Glenford Gordon. We can't lead from the side or the back. We gotta lead from the front, Irfan. You can't leave it to the National Road Safety Council. This thing has got to be driven from the front. This is the epidemic levels now. Carnage on our roads and our waterways. And it has to be addressed very frontally. There's no going wrong it. Andrew says pace and power. There's no tackling from the side. So the numbers are good. We have to operate from a place of data. That's good. But then we got to move from there now. How are you going to pull down those numbers? You got to enforce the law. Please and thank you. So that's one of the things we're following this morning. Look at the headline here. You think them boys easy? Reno Hoopman jailed for human trafficking offense. And also he was fined for assault of a Venezuelan woman. It must take something special in us to traffic somebody. And even look all that bright. You know, to use another human being like that. You're selling somebody's body for your own personal gain. You go there, you better bring in something here. The rest is me, you. You better bring in something, bring it right to. That's a level of wickedness like you cannot imagine. Why you don't go and bring it in? Why you don't go and bring it in? You know they got a special place reserved for them. I could hardly stomach a video I saw circulating on social media. You know them boys in the lockups got a phone, and the boys in the jail and the prison, oh yes, they got more broadband than you and I that out here. And them boys making a mess of a rapist. I mean, I'm not gonna cheerlead on that. Right? I'm not gonna anything on that. But tell you what I saw. I couldn't stomach too much of it. But if you're playing your crazy, you craziness got on and off button. Your craziness got an on and off button. I see them boys making a mess of him. Oh, you play one rape now? You play one traffic people. They can traffic you inside there. They can traffic you inside every night in a different cell. God forbid. You don't want to wish those things on people. But the good book says, what you do to people, gonna come back to you in this life. Some of y'all think it's still like, get on the other side, huh? Hell and brimstone. Good books in this life. Kwame and AG and all of y'all. In there, the whole pack of y'all. In this life, Ramson. Making a mess. He trafficking. You can't go there and find meaningful employment, take a little 10-day work under them boys. You know, if you look a certain way, something a certain way, you get a little 800 million contract. You could traffic your own. A human being. Some people say, Gwenette. Some people say, even Neon, some people sick. I want you all to know that Raquel Gentle is sick. Look at this other headline now. This country got, look. This country in a bad place. Neglect identified as a leading form of child abuse. That's what the authorities is telling us. Ashley Singh told us in the 2025 budget last week, malnutrition doubled under the PPP. And in forms of child abuse, neglect is the leading form. There's another set. There's another set. I'm not saying this is linked to the previous story, but this is how all kind of things happen to people's children. You abandon your child, you're gone. I have found there is utility in a mother and a father being there. I grew up in a single parent's home. So I understand. As a single parent, you got to do what you got to do. But if I had a choice, I love that setting where there's a father and the mother active, because sometimes you got a father there and he ain't too responsive, he ain't too present. So father and the mother there, you abandon your child and you're gone. That's another form of wickedness. That's another form of wickedness. Right? And let me say this for y'all who don't know. You better pull your socks up. Children are blessings. You know, welcome to Bible study this Tuesday morning. The good book says, blessed is the man whose quiver. You know the thing you put your arrows in? Like arrows in the hands of a mighty warrior. That's our kids. We got to fight for them. 17-year-old, 16-year-olds involved in robbery. I'll show your family. Point you down, you got father and mother in the family. If you got father and mother and children robbing, are you wicked? I know we say, you make your children, you don't make them mind, but the environment we socialize them in is important. Hats off to a single parent. Hats off to a single parent. You all understand? Hats off. My mother was a nurse by profession, and she specialized in, my Lord, what is it nursing? Dialysis. Specialized in dialysis. That lady put me through school. Right? Pay for me to get through the University of Guyana. I hear them sing in the National Assembly. I spent 10 years at UG. Oh, Jesus, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know who. Well, these are the people of false information. I remember somewhere around 2001, I enrolled at UG. Right? I forced right from long. I enrolled in UG. And my mother was so happy. Right? And I decided I want to work. Right? Like I didn't like the little stipend I get inside. I want to work. And I told my mother I can take a semester off and come back. I can take a year off. Come back. My mother told me, you're making a mistake. Right? My mother told me, you're making a mistake. In my mind, I was respectful of my mother. Love her to death. In my mind, I said, lady, you live your life already. I young. Bishop, Limerick, I say live your life. I young. She said, make a mistake. I said, next year going back, man. Like taste little work now. Shucks. Earn little money. Right? You can't want birds and you got nests. You can't want kind of people on dates and so you got money thing in your pocket and so right? It took me more than 7 to 8 years to get back to university. Life happened in between that. Life happened in between that. You know? It took me 7 to 8 years to get back to university. Life happened in between that time. You know? Every year going back. Every year. And then in 2009, damn it in hell. This is the year here. This is the year. Went back, did a diploma in communications. What do they call it? They have another name they call it. They say you do a something degree. The US equivalent. We say it's a diploma in communication. An associate's degree. That's what they say internationally. Did a diploma in communication. 2009, 2010, 2011. And then I signed up to do law. 2011 to 2014. Graduated from communications. Graduated with a law degree from the University of Guyana. So when I hear this thing about, You've been to UG for 10 years. These people is wrong information top to bottom. These people is wrong information top to bottom. Kudos to the people who went to UG like that. I stopped. Year 2, I said I can walk. Right? There was one point in my life I was teaching at 5 private schools simultaneously. 5 part-time. Right? You see, when you're young, you got energy, you don't got responsibility, you don't got no responsibility. I ain't had a chick nor a child. 5 private schools. A 2-hour here, a 5-hour so, a 3-hour here. I push in my body. Push in my body. And the PP government. You had to walk. Unless you went in the friend, family, and favorite crew. But I regretted, honestly. I regretted I didn't stay. When I initially started. I went and worked though. You see? Fathers and mothers are important. Fathers and mothers are important. Neglect! I'm happy I was neglected. I'm happy I was neglected. And my thoughts go to all the kids in a struggle. I'm getting some real struggle, you know. Some kids in a real struggle, you know. Real struggle. My wife and I were in Linden over the weekend. You may or may not know. And we stopped to buy some beverages at a shop. And this little boy came in after me and I told him to go ahead, you know. We weren't in a hurry. We were just cruising through Linden for the weekend. All right. We got in some sightseeing. We went to Soca Monarch in Linden. And then we went kayaking as well. We enjoyed the food of Linden. And this little boy, you know, I can tell he's a green dungs. He just gets sent to the shop and he went to buy. Right? He went to buy. He bought a bottle of water, $20 chick mints, 1 egg. Some families got it rough, you know. $20 chick mint, bottle of water, 1 egg. Now, I would agree, eggs expensive now. You see the price a tray of eggs fetching? That's why I laugh, folks. I laugh when I hear some of these ministers, some of these Johnny-come-latelys to real life, talk about going through all boys' tongue and who went here and going through East Ramville. Some of them discovered the Cemetery Road recently. Like how some people discover under the David Granger-led administration, you had something called an Independence Arch at the head of Brick Dam. Some of them just discovered Cemetery Road. People survive in this country. You go to the shop and you buy a dab of butter. We grew up poor, but I thank God we have never been so poor. I've been to those shops where we lived in South, walked over to East Ramville, and when you buy the 2 tennis roll in the morning, they put a little dab of butter. When you buy $20 milk from the shop man, they sprinkle a little sugar inside. That's the tea. People still have to do that to get by. I've not lost touch with that. And some of you watching us right now might be in that situation. I pray God you got the strength, but the sweat of your brow to overcome. But government has its role as well to create the programs that help to bring people out of poverty and higher up on the social ladder. People go to the shop, 1 sausage. I ain't telling you about a pack. 1 sausage. I hear in some places in this country, you could go and buy a little shampoo in a little plastic bag like this. Right? And I'm happy for the shopkeepers and the entrepreneurs and so on who are able to meet people at the level of the pocket. So when we talk about fastest growing economy and all this stuff, sometimes these folks are so out of touch. You go to the shop, you buy half of a quarter pint oil in a little plastic bag. Your little $40 milk, they can give you a little half spoon of sugar because they know it's tea you're going to make. One egg, your $20 chicken, a sausage. People got it rough in this country. But these guys with a diamond ball swinging from the chandelier, I'm happy for y'all. Long time gone, short time come. So child abuse, neglect, is leading form, they tell us. Neglect is the leading form of child abuse. See, I love my kids. I love my kids. 2 of them are overseas. Right? The little one here with us, giving us, he's like 4 in 1. I paid for my penances through him. He's pushed every button you got, and buttons you even know you had. He's 5 children in 1. I think about them all the time. I think about my kids all the time. Every month, I take a little money, I send to them, the 2 overseas. Try to keep in touch with them. Look, I'm trying not to come in this world. We have a responsibility for them. And I pray God the strength to see all my kids become 3 sons. To become. Now I want them to be. God has ordained them and set them aside to be. Let us do better as parents, collectively. Right? Let us do better. Please and thank you. You all know our independence anniversary is upon us. I went off a little bit there, didn't I? Our independence anniversary is upon us. I'm hearing the government has a series of activities planned. But I know ICE can be watching them very keenly. A series of activities planned in the diaspora in New York. Yeah, I want you to go outside and see bills and so on. No. I know ICE going to take a very keen note of the gatherings. They said they have several events planned for our 55th independence anniversary, republic anniversary. I'm happy for, go out if you can, you know. I think we celebrate together. That's it. Right? They want them for all the time though. We celebrate as a country our republic anniversary. We big. We big now. They're heading to New York for several events, they say. Right? I like watching you all on ICE, right? I watching you all on ICE. That's one of the things we're following. And there's a very interesting letter in today's press. Talks about matrimony breaking free from imitative traditions. Imitative traditions. I saw a whole debate on social media that says where we started with MASH, we should have been farther along, but government has allowed these imitative traditions to creep into MASH. And we pretty much set MASH aside and said, well, Carnival, Bacchanal, that's Trinidad. MASH started in Linden, you know, in my hometown, Linden. And then my adopted hometown, we teeth it now. We teeth it. I saw also John Fernandez, designer extraordinaire, lamenting how the costumes leaves a lot to be desired. Same thing, imitative tradition, mass costumes have now become bikinis and two-piece and so on. That's all well and good, but that wasn't what MASH was conceptualized to be. I remember the days of John Fernandez, the days of Peter Tang, creating mass costumes, giant fire-breathing dragons. I remember later on, in my work life as a teacher, right, reading and teaching Our Love's Lace, The Dragon Can Dance, and I went right back to Peter Tang and those monstrous costumes. I was so impressed as a child in that world, engrossed, because Peter Tang, this costume designer, had this mash camp close to where we lived. And they were there all year round, you know. I remember looking at those drawings on that board, that sketch board Peter Tang had. I remember how it was tilted in this room. Huge table tilted up. And these sketch drawings on this white paper, I could see it in my mind's eye now as a child. Wandering into this, precocious youth, looking at these drawings and watching them bend and twist metal to make all these fantastic creatures and floats and so on. And that fire-breathing dragon piqued my interest. Going on those mash bands as a young man with them from Guyneck, wherever they went around the city and back to Guyneck again. Oh, those were fascinating times. Right. Could we have them again? I don't know. I don't know if we can have them again. Maybe it's gone. And maybe as long as the people here it's gone. The boys and kids all them things. Culture. Where's culture for them? Where's culture for them? Nothing. Maybe it's gone. Maybe like Moses, one generation have a gone and I have a come and then we start back. I don't know. I saw Clinton Conway, a fantastic letter to these people, laying out how this tribunal that was put together to look at the actions or omissions of former Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus and Clifton Conway, pointing out several instances where this thing went wrong. He's no supporter, if you know Clinton Conway. If you've listened to him on with Paul Slow on their broadcast, speaking out, exposing corruption and incompetence. He's no supporter of Calvin Brutus, but pointing to this tribunal and the ad hoc way in which it was put together, violating several laws, according to Clinton Conway. And I'd recommend that letter, I know it's in Sabbath News, for your own consumption, for your mid-afternoon coffee table read. Please and thank you. Recommended for you. Last week, I saw some interesting headlines making the rounds. Last week into the weekend, this is one of them. Soldiers urged to vote your conscience in elections. And then they can go and say, the army is supposed to be neutral. You carry your politics to the army. And then you're going to want to say, oh, the army is supposed to be neutral. That's what them boys do, The army is supposed to be neutral. If you now say, oh, GDF, please vote APNU AFC. Right. How dare you? In voting your conscience, you didn't tell them to do the same thing? Or the conscience vote got a blank paper. I saw those headlines. There are other headlines as well. Like this one. GDF will stay vigilant against potential threats. Well, I hope the Chief of Defense, Brigadier Khan, he was talking about territorial threats. I hope so. But I get a sense from some other things that I saw that here is a government who are beginning to weaponize the Ghana Defense Force against its political opponents. Against its political opponents. I have heard General Secretary Jack Dew for the PPP made some strong statements during the last election. The nature of the struggle has changed, he said. We're not going to tolerate X, Y, and Z. I heard Mr. Norton use similar language. And suddenly Irfan run to the GDF. And then I heard some utterances from some elements in the private sector. Private sector got some decent, fantastic people. Then you got some other elements. They start what they can tolerate and won't tolerate. You see, when we start fiddling with our security apparatus as a country, fiddling with the police, fiddling with the GDF, fiddling with the discipline services, you're in a bad spot. We're in a bad spot. Last evening we learned, that 6 soldiers were shot at and shot by heavily armed men on the border. Heavily armed men. I am quite surprised that I didn't see an address to the nation at 10, 11, 12 o'clock last night. Irfan Ali was jumping alive for the most nonsensical of things, throwing all kind of hints against their political opponents. I'm surprised I haven't seen a press statement out of the same Kovakamites. And I've said it's not everybody in the private sector, it's a couple of them. I'm surprised I haven't seen a statement out of them as yet. 6. This is an Irfan Ali watch, Commander-in-Chief. 5 we lost in a helicopter crash. GDF officers, we're still waiting to see what the black box has to offer. And now we're learning that in the Cuyuni River, yesterday, 6 of our soldiers were shot at by the syndicatos, according to the reports. I didn't see Priya Manichan say nothing on Facebook. These are folks who are the flip of a coin. Kwame McCoy, Vindhya Prasad would say something, but I can't see a word out of them. Not even to say, y'all in our thoughts and prayers are brave men and women in uniform, as they are. Nada. This cannot become the norm. And I hope Guyanese at home and abroad, I hope all of that bluster that folks like Ashni Singh has for the parliamentary opposition, I hope they remember as we approach this 55th Republic anniversary who the real enemies are, because they've taken their eyes off of that. And that is why we're seeing some of the incursions that we're seeing. Mayor prophesied, I think during the last energy conference, or in one of the energy conferences that we've had. We're having one right now. I saw the president of the Dominican Republic is with us. That we can become tenants in our own country. I can't tell when last in recent history we've had this. Venezuelans shot at our soldiers, 6 of them. And then you have all kinds of things coming out now. I was made to understand that the helicopter, one of the GDF helicopters, or the helicopter that was supposed to evacuate these men, were not available But it's got helicopters to fly airfront all over the place, though. We've got helicopters to fly airfront all over the place. They say the helicopter breakdown, the Bell helicopter. So the men that were shot were left stranded. One crash, helicopter, killing 5 soldiers. And now this one break down. And I saw, as I said, the chief of defense say he ready for anything, for any threats. But I hope, right, that y'all respond. And as I said, Ashley and Anil and Kwame and all the rest, right? Manik Chan, that y'all and Parag, Sonia and Susan and Brock Ben, all the venom you're displaying in the National Assembly during the budget and the debate yesterday, all that vitriol and bile and vileness that y'all targeted to the syndicatos that shot 5 of our soldiers in the incursions into our territorial integrity. The soldiers are the first line of defense. And to see these men like this is so heartbreaking. I said it in the National Assembly, and I'll say it again. They dare not have done this under the last administration. We had a Cantor brigadier like the one you got now. We didn't have a Cantor brigadier. We had a real brigadier. He didn't pretend he was in charge. He had nobody pulling his strings. And that's why he said, leadership in the APNU AFC, it has always been strong. Leadership on the international stage has always been stronger in the APNU AFC. It has always been stronger. It's not Jack Joe the other day, they say you want to give away. Give them a little channel out, man. Give Venezuela a little channel out. Now look there, he passed. Look, the shooting, shot 5 of our soldiers. 5 dead, 5 shot at under the PPP watch. Right? And this Irfan, he's the one who carry cake for Maduro. He carry rum for Maduro. He carry gold, bangles and bracelets and rings for Maduro. And then he telling us that he hasn't come to a decision yet with Trump, whether Trump can send Venezuelans here or Panamanians or Mexicans here who they want to get out of the US. Right? They have not come to a decision yet on that. Where you see with Lamsick, where you see with Bradley, like they say, don't take Lamsick for a look from nighttime. 5 soldiers killed in a helicopter crash under the watch of Irfan Ali. And we can't know what is in the black box as yet. 5 of our soldiers, 6 shot yesterday by the syndicatos. What will be the response of Irfan Ali? I want to see some of that anger he musters for the parliamentary opposition. And if I can't see that and sense it is authentic, he in bed with the syndicatos. He is in bed with the syndicatos. Over to you now, PP government. Don't only bad for the parliamentary opposition, bad for all of Guyana. And this When they shot at our soldiers, they shot at all of us in this country. What will your response be? What will your response be, Irfan Ali and PPP government? What will your response be? You've been elected, according to y'all. Show it. You have been elected. You call yourself Commander-in-Chief. Not just in times of peace to put on some green jacket with the Cassif crown on it for photo ops. Step up now, Mr. President. Step up. Step up. Let's leave it there this morning. Step up. Step up. Talk is cheap. What will your actions be? What will your actions be? Step up. Step up. Let's leave it there, folks. We're going to see you guys on our next broadcast. We're going to see you on our next broadcast. Maxine and Annette, John, Elizabeth. Elizabeth said selected, not elective. A bunch of clowns. I want to see what their actions will be. The ball in your court. The ball in your court. Irfan. Ball in your court. Knock must get knocked back. You talk loud and you gesticulate and do this and rig the elections and this and the rig and the rig and the rig. Rig. The private sector too. Oh, the opposition will not be allowed to disrupt this election. Well, the syndicate is disrupting all of it now. And we're exposed. Over to y'all. Over to y'all. Melanie, Rena, Jolly. We're going to see you guys on the next one. We're going to see you guys on the next one. Take good care. And we're going to see you guys at the end of the day. Stay safe. That's our time, folks. That's our program. Stay safe.